Welcome back, everyone. This is phase 3 of organizing your elementary Google Classroom. So the difference between phases 1 and 2 and 3 is that 1 and 2 are more or less kind of a voluntold basis. They're recommendations that Brett and Ryan have approved, and definitely ways that we're kind of moving as a whole direction. But phase 3 ends up being just kind of a place to talk about tips and tricks, and just to make sure everyone's very familiar and very comfortable with all the features of Google Classroom. It's a good LMS. It's a free LMS, so I imagine it being around in some capacity going forward. So knowing the tips and tricks of it will just make life all the easier for everybody. So getting into these 10 tips and tricks, I'm going to try and show you each one in a demo Google Classroom as well. So the first 3 are going to get into the built-in tools that are already in Google Classroom that you may or may not know. And I just want to make sure everyone kind of sees them and understands how to utilize them. So the first one is that we can really quickly and easily email home a student's work summary, essentially kind of where they are, what's missing, what's there, and just send that home to families so that they're able to kind of get an idea as to what kids are missing, what they're able to work on, and certain scores they've gotten for different things. So just a really kind of quick and easy way. So once we have a parent or guardian email added as a guardian for Google Classroom, and you can see another video if you want to see what that looks like, that makes it really easy for us to be able to access that instant kind of email through the steps down here. So in my demo Google Classroom, I'll show you how to do it. If we go to grades, and again, we don't normally use this grade book, but it does exist here for a couple of good reasons. We can click on any one of our students, click the email, the little letter icon in the upper corner, and we can include their work summary in the message that we send home. And so again, if they already have a guardian attached to this account, then they will have it sent to themselves and to their guardian immediately. And it's just that simple, and it will come with all this either missing or the scores they've received or kind of wherever they are with their assignments. It's just that quick and easy to be able to do so. Another good tip and trick is be able to use the question feature. The question feature in Google Classroom, this can be a really good tool for a number of reasons. It can be an entrance or an exit ticket. It could be a quick poll, a think, pair, share, a self-check. Just a really good, great tool that if you haven't used it before, it may be helpful to you in a number of ways. So instead of creating an assignment like you might be used to, you want to create a question, and this will just pop up as kind of a place for the kids to answer right on Google Classroom. So there's no extra document they have to click into, no form, nothing extra. And then their data will appear right there for you to kind of work through. So just a really quick and easy way to do, like if you're not a big fan of doing like the paper and pencil version of an exit ticket, using the question feature is a really good one as well. A third great tool that's already built into Google Classroom, we talked about it before, but I want to make sure we're all on the same page, is being able to make a copy for each student when we create a new assignment with a document. So, for example, if we're looking at this essay assignment, we have this one, for example, has a document that each student has a copy attached to. So instead of them having to make that copy themselves, we put on this document, and I selected make a copy for each student, and then each of my students in this Google Classroom has a unique document that's been copied and created for them. And that just makes it easier on the end of the student to know where to navigate to and which document is theirs and how to answer their questions. So if you do want to see that in action again, you can go back to, I believe it's part 1 has the information, or also part 2, I'll have to look at that, has the information about how to make a copy for a Google Classroom assignment. Another really great kind of set of tools that we're going to think about with Google Classroom is we want to be able to really easily assess where they are. And there are a few tools that make that really nice and easy in Google Classroom. We can use evaluation templates for any verbal assessments that you end up doing, or assessments that they give to you in a verbal sense, so they could give it to you verbally and virtually if you're using Flipgrid or something like that, for example. You can also have a comment bank that's kind of utilized in Google Classroom so that you're able to, instead of typing in the same comments over and over, the comment bank gives you a chance to just kind of tackle comments as, the more frequent ones you can kind of put in for every student. And you can also really easily differentiate assignments by only assigning tasks to certain students. So firstly, the evaluation template, that's going to be a really good one to use. This would be something you would put, essentially like you would have a blank rubric and you have it in a Google Doc, or you put it in Google Keep, or just somewhere you can access it easily. And then before each student presents, you simply copy and paste it into the comment section. So if I was going to have them, work on a certain lesson, this presentation, for example, and while I'm grading, I'll go into each of my students, and in this bottom section, I'll copy and paste the rubric.